Hi there everybody, my name is Kate and welcome to my channel Trinergy Awakens Naturally. So we've been hiking and I was listening to some spiritualists and I really wanted to put something out there. I found this quite disturbing and I really want to make sure that I put this out there because for some reason it seems vitally important. It is vitally important because it is. Thank you, Spirit. That the person I was listening to, that I had to stop listening because it felt so horrible what she was saying. That she was a spiritualist and oracle who was saying that there's a lot of stuff happening right now with people experiencing karma and very negative return on some negative investments, and it's ugly. It's very ugly, and for people who grab the popcorn and watch, that's kind of what she turned into, except that it got worse. It wasn't just a matter of let me grab the popcorn and watch the gladiator sports. Let me start, indicting people and, declaring who should be thrown into the lion's den and why, all under the name of God. The Most High told me this. This is just the message I'm sending. And, I made a video already about that, of when we're talking and we're speaking on behalf of the Most High. Me personally, I cannot even remotely be okay with allowing myself to let something slip out of my mouth that is saying that this is from the Most High, and I hope you fry. There's something very hugely inconsistent and terribly wrong with that in my soul, and so I don't condone that, and I don't allow myself to be subject to that, so I won't be listening to that person ever again. Clear on where that stands. However, it did put it into my mind of where it is that some people feel very justified to say things, because she went on and said, if this is you, if you're a karmic, cross-watch and blah, 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 fill in a lot of blanks there. If this is you and you're this person and you've done all this, you're just a worthless soul and you deserve to die, and you should just go on ahead and commit suicide. And I almost fell off the trail. I mean, really, I almost fell off the trail. Like, I cannot believe that we have someone who's talking about God and spirit and universal love and all of these things, and yet is encouraging anyone to take their own life because they're unworthy. That's how we ended up with terrible race issues in our country, gender identity issues, great economic disparity. I mean, anytime that anyone, for any reason, decides that someone else isn't worthy of life, that's how you get there. And it doesn't matter whether we're saying it from, the stance of I'm a spiritualist and I'm an empress and I'm a high priestess and I'm a this, or I'm a president of whatever, or I just deem myself to be superior because I'm white or because I have more money or whatever it is. When we start putting ourselves or allowing anybody else to put themselves into a position of superiority, and we glom onto that and then start gang piling into that mentality, that's how, excuse me, a whole race of people was almost exterminated off the planet. And any race that already has been exterminated off the planet, that's exactly how it happened. Was somebody else decided that human life, that living entity, did not have enough worthiness to breathe. And I've had people, I had someone that I was very close to for a long time tell me that I didn't deserve to have breath in my mouth anymore, because they were angry at me. And though it hurt my feelings, I really felt more pain and more sadness for the person that said it, that wow, that's a very turned off person, that I'm an oxygen thief, or I deserve to suffer, etc. I mean, I heard it all going through a divorce, but the objective was not for me to get stuck in the butthurt and the, how could you? For me, it went straight to the, my God, how could you be so far separated? What has happened to you in your world that you're not willing to acknowledge, that you can just throw away a whole person? And it's not even like, throwing away a stranger. This woman that was talking, she was just tossing off strangers, However, we do have people in our lives sometimes that will say things to us, and, if we're saying them to them, words are very powerful and they're quite injurious. I myself am very, not impervious. However, I'm pretty, Teflon tough about that kind of thing because I'm used to it. I spent a lifetime, being on the outside, being, quirky and different. And so I was used to, people having an edge with me. However, it still did come across me that, wow, that's some pretty intense stuff, that you don't think that I'm worthy of breath even. No matter how mad I have ever been at somebody, I can't even imagine the dishonor that brings to life itself and divinity, and the creator of me is the same creator of them, whoever them is, no matter how mad I am at them. And it really displayed and put onto, full frontal vision of just how damaged those people were in their own soul or in their own psyche, that you can't feel your own wholeness, your own wellness, or your own well-being enough, not even a smidge enough, to understand how limited and horrible a thing that is to say, that you would wish somebody to be in as much pain as you're apparently in. Because people that are really truly healed, truly healed, aren't saying things like that. I've never heard anybody that I admired, and I thought they were just, wow, that's a great spiritual thought right there. I never heard one of them say anything about wanting their opposing parties or their foes, or anybody that brought anything to them that was really, hurtful. I've never heard them say that, well, I can't wait to know that they've suffered and that they're going to get theirs, because that's a very juvenile, spiritually small way to handle things, because that's not what we've learned from any of our spiritual masters. It's not what we've learned from any of our great spiritual teachers. That, returning fire on that, just to me, is a great demonstration of where people are. That why would I ever want, why would anyone, but why would I'll own it, that why would I want to wish someone else the same exact pain that they're trying to cause me, or that they have caused me, or that they're wishing upon me? I don't have to, because apparently they're already super confused, and they're already hurting enough and so turned off enough from their own divinity and their own spiritual sense of self, that they're willing to articulate those things. And especially now that we've moved into a whole new vibrational understanding, whole new way of living and doing and breathing and being, that yeah, people are coming back with, getting a return on having said things like that, and having done horrible things, and having done things to, make sure that that person didn't deserve to live. Then I'm going to make sure they don't deserve to live, and it's absolutely absurd to be pushing that agenda through some spiritual sense, and then tagging that on the creator of all things. The Most High said this to me. This is what I heard, that's not even remotely, there's nothing creative about that. That's just an old thought. That's how racism, still exists, and genderism, ageism, any ism that you want to shove in there. That's how that happens, is by somebody saying that that ism is bad. And depending on how Hitler-esque or Donald-esque, or however much we can get people on board with it, because we secretly harbor that same idea somewhere in us and it resonates with us, that's how much foot traffic and power moving forward we're going to have to overtake an entire Capitol building, or overtake an entire country, and then another one, and then whole entire thousands and thousands and thousands of people's families and generations and ideology and culture and religion and anything else that we can destroy. That's how that gets done, is by making sure you identify the bad guy. Unfortunately, though, that's not what New Earth Energy is about. There's nothing about New Earth Energy that says we have anybody who's the bad guy. We have people who self-identify as, you're not fitting into the vibrational understanding, then it's handling itself by not meddling with it a whole lot. And the less we handle it, the better. And the less that we advise people who would go to a spiritualist or an oracle or something, along those lines, the less we look to those people when we're not spiritually grounded enough to make our own intuitive decisions, and we hear somebody say that kind of thing, and we're not fully healed and fully integrated and transcended our ego better than that, then we can get on board with that and start labeling ourselves Empress somebody, or High Priestess, whatever, or an Oshun, or whatever we call ourselves, and then start taking action and using our mouth to start spreading that word some more. And we already had enough bad dissemination of bad information, you know, that destroyed whole entire families. And, you know, cultures have been obliterated off this planet already. And it's a very unkind way to deal with things. And it's not naivete on my part that I don't understand that, you know, dark energy has to be dealt with, and people who have done horrible things have to be dealt with. However, suggesting that they should kill themselves, or that I have the right to think, you know, that's just passive murder on my end. If I can get you to do it, you know, but I've suggested it out there. How does that woman know that 60,000 followers or something she has? How does that woman know that there's not somebody who heard that felt so unworthy because of some terrible parenting or some terrible marriage or terrible job or terrible something, where the messaging got in deep enough that they felt like that whatever they had done, whatever it was, so highly suggestive that they could not believe something better about themselves, and that they did not in fact commit suicide right after they watched that movie or watched that video. I mean, that's a whole lot of responsibility, and that's why, you know, I take my job as a spiritualist very seriously, that I am channeling information. However, I'm always going to own the fact that 1111, I channel what I hear, what I think I hear, what I feel, what I feel pretty certain I hear. However, I always need to own the fact that it's me that's saying that. And there's a beautiful deer just sitting right under the tree. Hello there. Beautiful. I always need to own that fact, and never, not one time can I abide anybody putting it out of their mouth, something hateful and suggestive of, you know, terminating life on this planet in the name of, you know, anything. No, to me, that's heresy at a whole new level. And, you know, I don't understand how people get there to that reasoning, or how they get to that logic, other than that's still not quite transcended the egoic spot to believe that I have the right to decide who can go or stay, because I lived with somebody telling me that I was an oxygen thief, and another that, you know, told me I didn't deserve to have a home or anything. You know, I didn't deserve to have anything at all, because I was just a fill in the blank. And being on the receiving end of that what have I done so horrible that, oh my goodness, I don't even deserve from these people that used to say they love me, and oh no. And if I wasn't strong in character enough, or hadn't been tuned into my intuition enough, I could have been highly suggested into moving right into taking myself off this planet, because somebody else told me I wasn't worthy enough to be here. And I had respect for them at one time, but if I believed all that, then I could very well not be here anymore, not doing what I came here to do. You know, whether anybody else understands it, likes it, loves it, hates it, whatever, it's what I'm here to do, and it brings me such joy. Then how dare anyone tell me that I don't deserve to be here living my purpose? Whether anybody else is living their purpose or not, that's still not within my realm or in my scope to talk about anyone else and what they should or shouldn't be doing, particularly if I'm encouraging that they need to just take themselves 1313 off this planet. That's a cruelty at some level of, please. I wish we did not have spiritualists particularly out there saying that junk, because, you know, there are people like me who, you know, I listen to a bunch of different people just doing research, and I grew up with a whole lot of confusion and a whole lot of very, you know, dark and twisted, my dog keeps putting my car into neutral, thank you, a lot of dark and twisted misunderstandings of teachings that come from a very, you know, principled place and from universal intelligence. However, when it gets all wrapped up into that, then I could have very easily been off this planet a long time ago if I was easily swayed or easily believing that, you know, I deserved it somehow because of all the terrible stuff that I've ever done as a human being. And even if I had done terrible things as a human being worthy of, you know, somebody else telling me that for realsy, it still isn't anybody else. We're human beings. Every single one of us is a human being, and got here the same and will leave the same. And until someone else can prove differently to me, then yeah, we have different jobs and we have different abilities. And we may be ranked different spiritually. However, we're still all ranked as human beings laterally, and that doesn't give me any room to put myself above anyone else, even if they're a felon, even if they're a murderer. It just means that we're not likely to spend time together. However, I don't need to get involved with that. That's going into a level of ratchet, and then wrap some, you know, white light around it just causes a whole lot of confusion and delays people from doing their ego work some more. Please stop standing around, you know, talking about what people deserve. You know, everybody deserves to not be in a position where they think that they need to be, you know, offing someone else or suggesting they do it for themselves, or that they be so damaged and hurt and so much in the dark and blind that they're just worthless and don't deserve to ever have some quality of life. 1515, that's to me, a very horrible precedent to continue to stand on. It's already been established. It's already been established many, 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 many times over. And I would think that, you know, we could be learning that. And apparently we're just twisting it around a new axis. And it's just a particularly soft spot for me, particularly because I did have people tell me, you know, that I wasn't worthy. And it was, you know, just so like baffling to me of, oh my goodness, I wish that you didn't hurt so much inside you that you can't hear how horrible that is, and there's nothing I can do to help you. You know, that I understand it. I get the whole psychological profile of that. However, that's gone into a whole category that I can do nothing to help you, you know, for as long as you stay blind and walking, you know, the opposite way from the light. But the minute that people step into the light, they can make every bit of that right, and they have the right to, and they deserve to do that. It does not absolve everyone of their karma or suddenly get people a free ride somewhere. It doesn't. And it doesn't mean it instantly changes, you know, things in relationships. It changes the dynamic though, and that person, every soul is guaranteed, you know, in my understanding and everything I believe, every single soul is guaranteed that if you want to wake up and you want to make stuff right, then you can. It may, you know, be that you're not going to be able to do that very easily before you know, cash in on this lifetime. However, there's nothing in any of the divine that says to me that, yeah, you've screwed it up too much, that you cannot start walking in the light, no matter if it's on your deathbed, you know, or it's 80 years before your deathbed. There's always a way to start walking in the light. It's kind of bumpy and it's grisly. However, encouraging someone to just give up, and what do you think that's going to get better if they just kill themselves? It doesn't go away. It's not that easy. So anyway, I'm done with my rant. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, friends.